Congratulations. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the sorority rush. Now, I really need to tell you a little bit of the context of why I am creating this. So, first of all, business for everybody has totally changed and leveled the game. And I've been in business for 10 years, and I have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to meet enough women who embody the things that I resonate with. Okay, so I am inviting you into rushing this online sorority, and it's going to be a sisterhood. And basically, it's for lone wolves like myself, who I actually, hey, Stella, lone wolves who love dogs, who realize that they've basically taken it as far as they can. And now they really need to self select a pack. And so I see a huge gaping hole in the not only just the business world, just, like with all women, right? And if you know the word I'm talking about, patriarchy, it's like we were, for lack of a better word, groomed into thinking a certain way that actually does not fit the feminine nervous system, the feminine biomagical system. It doesn't jive with the way dudes do things. We're equal but different. And we all have things that we're really good at. Okay. And so three or four huge things I'm seeing in addition to the changes in the market. So if you're here and you're not in business and you have no desire to be in business, it's fine, it's cool, because this finishing school is going to be based on pristine energetics that tap into the pulse of what creates worlds. Okay, so you hear manifest this, manifest that, blah, 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 blah. Like, I will use that word for clarity until we get on a flywheel where we all can equally agree and embody that women do not manifest, we co-create with the universe and the powers that be. And so this has been, I could say, the secret to my success, but it's so much more than that. It's how I do everything. It's how I've become a better wife. It's how I've become a better mother. It's how I've grown three businesses my way. It's how I transcended not one but two cancers. And all of it has to do with your light body and your higher self. Okay. And that's the trickle down from mindset. So my genius is knowing these divine templates and sharing them with you in the appropriate time so that your system and these bigger systems actually sync. And you're probably like, well, I don't really know what you mean, Lisa. So I'll give you an example of Christmas. Christmas is like the greatest show on earth, right? So, first of all, Christ means a certain kind of consciousness. It represents a certain fluid that is secreted by the pineal and the pituitary gland. And mas means more in Spanish, but mas really signifies lunar alchemy. And so Christ signifies solar alchemy. So when you have sun and lunar alchemy together, and you know how to prepare the body and sync the body in alignment with these greater cycles, because women don't, like, first of all, time is an illusion, but women don't operate on time. Well, we do, but it's called seasons and cycles. And the time frame that we have been born into is based upon a very masculine cycle. That is not how women flow. And so when I began to remember, because I'm not gonna, like, I'll be able to teach you a lot of really cool stuff, but I would bet 98% of everything that I have, that when I speak to you about these things, it's just going to be a remembrance. So if you're here from when we were little and we used to play in the backyard of the school ground, or if we used to go to Galanos in sixth grade from the middle school, or if we played soccer together in high school, or if we got shit faced together in college, or if I've met you online, it doesn't matter. Like, we're all women. And what I am landing in the sorority is the feminine dimension. And the reason why I've chosen to do it now is because I'm going to just do it my way. And my way is strategic velocity. If you know me from when I was little, I am so fucking fast. And I work in really great and intense spurts. And then there is a recalibration, and then there's a spurt. And so it's not just me, a lot of women, especially in the online space, there's a lot of BS. There's a lot of coaches out there who are actually MLM marketers who are awesome and saw a need for life coaching and then position themselves as life coaching. Then there are other, I'm just going to talk to women. Then there are other women out there who position themselves as the be all and the end all, and the shit I could tell you behind the scenes of screwing people over money, of blowing up people online, like the lack of accountability just blows. So those aren't my people. And right now I want to find my sisters, right? So this finishing school is for mature women, right? Who know how to hold themselves, or at least really want to learn how to hold themselves. This is not a place for people who blame everybody else for their problems. This is not a place for people who consider themselves victims. This is a place for big girls who actually want to learn and earn their letters. And it's more of letters of embodiment. And when I say embodiment, I mean pretty much a complete feminine soul retrieval. And there actually is a step by step mapping of how you do this. And I'll give you a hint. Part of it is through the constellations, but not really. Okay. So people who are stuck in the constellations, they're still stuck and they're still capped at this matrix. So I would love for you to join. Now, I also want to make this accessible for as many women who want this as possible. So here is your founding rate for the next 6 months. And I'm going to ask you to lock into 6 months. But if after 3 months you're like, this isn't for me, I will say thank you very much. I was so glad for you to spend time with us, because I know that your presence actually was a piece of currency for me and us looking to grow this. So this isn't, yeah, I'll be the leader because I have to do a lot of the work. But this isn't, to be clear, this is for us. This is for you to be part of a growing movement. Now, do I know what I'm going to do? No, I don't have any idea what I'm gonna do, but that is how I roll. It's also part of the secret to my successes, because I wait and I listen and I wait for the instruction to flow through me. I have become a channel now, but I don't look like, a normal psychic or anything like that. I have devoted myself for a very long time into purifying my energetics. Am I perfect? No way. But I do hold myself to a very high standard. And I actually will hold the sorority to a very high standard. So this is an opportunity for you if you are looking for something to plug in and to learn about yourself, learn about the feminine dimension, which by the way is all womb consciousness, and begin to remember the different pieces of your soul. Now, this could or could not be actually a good business move. I don't know. That's not really why I'm doing this. So let's just table the soul and the feelings over here for a second, okay? And let's just talk about another thing that's missing. Because I have hired people with zero results for people who have misrepresented what they were actually able to deliver for big, big money. And I am just so sick of it. Like, honestly, it's Luciferian. But, anyways, why would you want to grow this with me? Well, number one, you'll never get in at a price like this ever again. Usually my prices begin at 200 in a group setting. Um, but more than that, I want you to feel like you're a part of something, and not in like the, oh, not in that way, right? Not in that way. I want you to feel that you're plugged into a group of women who get it, who get you, or at least who get what you resonate with. I also want you to know that by plugging into this now, you are going to get incredible business secrets that are going to exponentially catapult your business. Because what is being taught online, at least on Facebook, they're not teaching you business. They are teaching you how to show up on social media as only one channel. That is not teaching you business. That is teaching you how to be on one channel or two channel or multiple channels. But here's the thing. That's the bare minimum of business. There is so much more out here waiting for you. But there has been these blinders of this like Facebook cult that I felt, that I tapped into because I just didn't know better. I believed people when they told me they were actually a business coach, or I believed people when they told me they actually knew energetics, or I believe people when they told me they were actually like maybe a priestess or a witch, and anyways. So this is a beta. This is a test. I know it's going to be successful because it dropped in. I've been thinking about this. Other people have been thinking about like trying to like, there's something here. There's something here. But for me, it can't just be energetics. It can't just be wealth. It can't just be business because it's all intertwined. For me, it's all bog business, right? So for the next 3 months, bare minimum. And if you know me and if you've worked with me, you know when I go bare minimum, it means that there's a tsunami coming in because it's giving me a lot more. I'm not committed to anything other than receiving and giving. Okay. So, and I also want to show you a new business model coming in. It's not a sorority business model, but one of the biggest things that I see that people have trouble with because they're not being taught that number one, your messaging is important. Like the biggest thing is people like, well, I don't know how to speak to my woman. I don't know. I mean, I'm just so much magic. Like, how do I niche it? How do I deliver it? All that stuff. I get it. I had the problem for 6 years. There's also ADHD, right? Especially those of you who have been in the AI accelerator with me, or if you know how to work with AI on your own. I teach you, like, it's a good thing that it caps off unless you have the more extended version, because you are creative, supernatural beings in a human body that live on earth. And you actually have this divine inheritance for abundance and wealth and health and anything that you can desire. So for me, once upon a time, I fell into the trap of like the Rolex, the Chanel, like all those things. And they're nice. And I have them. And don't get me wrong, I love to rock them. But me, I love land. I love being able to roll outside of my jammies with my own branding, my own coffee, with Stala, with the dogs off leash, and just walk and walk and walk and walk. To me, that's wealth. Now, what I'm going to be sharing in here is a very elegant wealth, because people who are screaming from the rooftops, that's not wealth, is quiet. The other thing I'm going to be teaching you is how to be a person of influence, not an influencer. You can build your business without even being seen if you want. And actually, I kind of recommend it if you don't like being seen, because then you're going to work on your messaging. So if you were in the MAIX, if you were in the Magnetic AI Accelerator, you lock in at the founding rate of $33 a month. You are not bound to the 3 months, because if you're opting in, we've worked together, you know me, that's it. If you are not in my AI accelerator, which blends the deep, deep, deep feminine energetics with business and AI, then it's $66 a month for you to pledge with a minimum of 6 months. But after 3, if you're like, this isn't for me, then just reach out to me, because this has to be a win-win for both of us. Like, what I really want you to feel like is that you came in here and you just scored the thrift shop score of a lifetime. That's really how I want you to feel. Now, I was in a sorority. I was like, nah, I'm not a sorority girl. And actually, one of my roommates from freshman year was like, please, Lisa, just come with me. So I went with her, GW, to a rush. And then I ended up falling in love with 2 sororities. One was a Jewish one, and one was a Catholic Protestant one, whatever you want to call it. And they rushed me hard. So these next few days are what I'm calling a rush, right? Okay. And I want you to feel the excitement of it. And so if you're in, I would love to hang out with you. And already in the group, there is so much content to get you going. But here is what you can look forward to, at least for the next 3 months, bare minimum. I'm going to talk to you about Christmas alchemy, because the solstice is really the time of year where you receive the light in order to create everything. So when people talk about manifestation, it's a complete disrespect, an ignorant one, because they don't even know that we run on light. We run on the cycles of light and dark. So these are deep, deep, deep energetics that I will explain deeper. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you feel a ping, trust your womb. Drop your consciousness into your womb. Don't think from here. Begin to train to think from here. And I will give you an example of what I mean. There's all these flipping drones, right? Well, I've trained myself to think from different levels, from different dimensions, from different consciousnesses. Our first consciousness is our womb consciousness. Okay. It's that gut hit. It's that sacral hit. Incidentally, women, we are landing the quantum feminine economy. There is so much wealth. You can't even imagine it. And I am running with 8 and 9 figure women. And the shit that I'm learning, it's mind blowing. But here's the thing, it came in through AI. So when you join, okay, so the women in the MAX, they get founding sister status. Okay, we've ridden dirty together. I know you, they know me. So they're eligible to get their letters right off the bat. But 2, align the spiritual ego. Everybody must come through as a pledge first for 3 months. Okay. And then after 3 months, you will go through an initiation and you will receive your letters as a sister. I am going to try to model the sorority sisterhood thing, but it's not going to really be exact because usually sisterhoods are in person. There will be trainings, there will be oaths, there will be rituals. So what I would really, really love to do with you all year long is to get you ready and to share with you these gorgeous, gorgeous rituals, both online, but really in person. Okay. And I do that at my lake house in Maine, and I do that here on the bogs. And then there will be an incredible initiation in Glastonbury at the spring solstice near Stonehenge. But okay. So once you're inside, there's going to be a whole plethora of things to ping your interest. But the first 3 months, and it might just happen in a month, but the first 3 months are really about me fact finding and taking the pulse and seeing where you're at, what's your next step, what do you want versus what you need. So I'm going to automatically give you what you need from the feminine dimension. And it starts the day after Christmas. It's already coming in. It's already coming in. Like if you find any of the recordings in the sorority rush, because I'm going to close that Facebook group for people who aren't taking, who don't want to become sisters or who don't even want to see what it's about. It's a pledging period, right? We want to see if this is where you want to fit and land. So beginning, I'm going to upload stuff about Christmas alchemy first. But beginning December 26th for the next, I think, 12 or 13 days, it's all important, but it's the most important piece. And it is an initiation of light, which then is the overshadowing template of the different months, which correlate to the different constellations, which correlate to different dimensions, which correlate to different frequencies, which correlate to different angles or angels or whatever you want to call it. I want to see if you're more interested in Western or hermetic alchemy, right? So I embody, the alchemist. This is what I created, migraine magic. It's an alchemical, it's an alchemical spray specifically for headaches. And there's a ton of alchemy in there. So This is it. No, this is love magic. Okay. So there's going to be, what I'm also going to ask you to do is, this is love magic. That's a heart opener. What I'm also going to invite you to do, if you want to, you don't have to, but I really want to see if we can grow this group to over 133 women in a few days. And the reason why I'm going to ask you to invite people, if you want to, is because I want to show you what's possible. And I also want to show you that it's not hard to make money at all anymore. You just have to be able to pierce through the veil. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you know you're in, and if you know that it's a no-brainer, okay, and if you want your girlfriends to come in with you so you guys can like ride dirty together, right? Because this is totally an internal job. Then if you bring 5 people in, you get your choice of a magic elixir, or you get your choice of this gorgeous, so nothing I have is less than $100. This gorgeous crystal roll on, right? And I'll make you a magic potion, or I'll put one of them in here. You get this if you refer 5 people. Or I have this adorable little amethyst. I don't know how many I have of these. I might only have one. Spray on. And I will put a magic potion in this for you. It comes with this little cleaner. If you refer 10 women, you get one of those, and you get a session with me, and we get to just like go crazy, whatever it is. At some point, I'm probably gonna pay out money, but right now, where it's basically day one, this is the incentive and the capacity that I have right now to offer you. Okay. And there, the commission on $66, it's not going to be a lot. This is a better value. Okay. I have created posts. I have not created images. So if you want to invite other women into pledging with this really cool feminine finishing school sorority online, I would love it. I've never done anything like this. I've never, even like with my products, I half-assed affiliate. I didn't do that. It's affiliate, but it's not affiliate. I want you to be as excited as I am. And I want you to invite your girlfriends in, or if you want to give your girlfriend a gift, it's just women only, you want to buy them entry, you can do that too. You would have to commit to a minimum of 3 months. So I would have to create a special link for that. But like if you know that somebody would really love this, get a hold of me and I can kind of figure out how to create something for that. Okay. Now back to business for a second. The women in my business accelerators, I want you to watch what I do, because everything that I do, even though it stems from my desire and her dropping this in, have to be somewhat strategic about it, which means there has to be some structure. And right now, I am just committing to 1 live a month. Usually my lives are $111 for 1 hour. So you're basically getting that for 3 months, but you're getting a shit ton more of time, right? This isn't about me wanting to take from you. This is about me providing something in integrity that I know that women are missing. It's good stuff, and growing together. And if you're an entrepreneur, you need this. You need to be amongst other entrepreneurs who you see showing up, doing the work, having the energetics behind it, and the wealth mindset with it to keep yourself either starting, growing, scaling, adding another business onto stuff. So I think that's it. Let me just check real quick and see if there's anything um, else you really need to know. So what this is in business, you would call this a beta because I want to see what works. And when you're creating a beta offer, a beta is not free. When you're creating a beta offer and you have one or two or three people that respond to it, then you know it's viable. And when it's viable, you then can create a structure and you can duplicate it. So my hope is, now I know this could grow, that this could go global, right? That's not really my jam. If it did, I would oversee it. I wouldn't run it because I'm not like, I just want to be on the boat or the bogs. That's it. So if I can run it from there and have no headache, great. But I can see this being a global network. And honestly, the thing that dropped it in when I was like, no brainer sorority, because this is how it works for me. Like, this has been the quantum feminine economy, which is restructuring, raising the womb consciousness. Okay. And I can go so deep, but the woo is real. And it has taken me 7 years to kind of like bring it on through. And then the other day, Anna Jane, my daughter, her car just kept dying. It was so cold up at Amherst. And I always think out of the box, right? And I always go right to the solution. And other stuff happened in the household. So my husband couldn't jet up 2.5 hours to Amherst like that to help her. And, we didn't have AAA. So I was like, dude, call your fraternity brothers. Like, that's what they're there for. Like, if you're in a pickle, you might never ever need them. But I was like, call your fraternity brothers at Amherst. I know those guys will go help her. And he did. That is the frequency. Ooh, now I feel it. This is the frequency that this sorority is being built out of. Not for somebody to call a sister up all the time and be like, da, 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 but the trust and the faith and the knowing that the women who pledge and take an oath as a sister is somebody that no matter where you are in the world, you know that if you can call her, she's there. She is there for you in whatever capacity. And oh my God. And this is such an incredible, wealthy resource in and of itself. Okay. I know people all over the world. It's an informal sisterhood. My friends are like sisters. Okay. I don't need to create an organization for that. So my son, one of my sons, we're not going to get into it, but he flew over to the Middle East and he's my kid, truly. So he ends up going over to Lebanon, which I did when I was 19. And it's not good over there. It's like really bad. However, my best friend lives there. And I didn't need to call her, but I don't know if you can feel how much peace I had knowing that if God forbid anything happened, I know that I could call her family. So this is the level of power and love and loyalty and devotion. And there's nothing weird. It's going to be an incredibly beautiful space. It made me choose pink, which I like pink, but you know. So I would love I would love to see who feels the call to join during this epic solstice Christmas moment, because in so many more ways than you know, it is very telling about your destiny and your dharma, and quite honestly, your wealthy future. So I'm not going to make any promises, but I know where I'm going. And I know whatever I set my sights on, it happens. So I want to welcome you in as a pledge or a sister. I am going to drop the links here. You will be charged automatically for 6 months unless you get a hold of me otherwise after 3. But you're obligated for 3 because we're not really, I mean, you're going to learn probably more than you've ever learned in your whole life, or you will expand more or faster than you ever have in this window. Um, where we're going and what we're doing is going to be thrilling. It is going to be the thrill of your life. And I love that because I get bored wicked easy. And I know the way. So I'm going to show you the way, and then you're going to have your own way. I'm going to show you the ways, and then you're going to integrate your own magic. And we're going to very much share in this space. This is not going to be this space. Now, in my other Facebook groups, I actually don't care very much about engagement. I do not post often, um, because the connection happens in the more private groups. Um, but this space has to be a little bit more engaging. And so I don't know what that looks yet, but right now I can tell you that there's a ton of content, that on the checkout page, if you're pledging, you get the nervous system recalibration, which is very much a shamanic ritual that balances all your bodies, and you need headphones. You get my book called The Feminine Dimension that was just in a magazine. And I highly suggest that you begin binging on that, because that is the foundation of this sorority. And this book it's a living manuscript. This sorority will go in that book when it's time for me to include this chapter. So when you check out, you get the link to the Facebook group, which you're in because I'm putting this in the Facebook group. You get the Feminine Dimension book, you get the nervous system recalibration, and I will come on and say a little bit more later, but you will begin receiving the light creation codes from me. And when I say code, I'm not talking like anybody else online. I'm talking about direct currents that will be helping you grow and expand and purify your light body. So that's what I promise you for the next 3 months. It might, like, the codes, the light codes coming in are there's like 12 different days that I will, either some being live, Some will be recorded depending upon my schedule. Again, I didn't plan on starting a sorority 5 days before Christmas, but it's just so good and it's so big and it makes sense. And my sacral has the hit. Oh, coming back to close the gap about womb consciousness. Okay. So all of a sudden, I didn't really care about the drones till they were in my backyard. And I didn't let my mind go crazy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But what I did was tune in with my gut, with my womb. And I do not have any fear there as of right now. I don't know what they are. I don't like them in the sky. They're littering the sky. There's a bunch of theories having to do with radioactive material being deposited in Massachusetts and then other like plasmic type of beings. I don't know. But what I do know is 2025 is your year. And I'm not saying that like no, this is the year that you get the real deal stuff for business, wealth consciousness, but most importantly, your soul, your light.